So, first up, we have a guy that we would all like to have as our sheriff. Please welcome for his first time at DragonCon, Mr. Greg Lawson. I'd say he's all set, wouldn't you? Yeah. And next up, we have someone else whose allegiances we weren't always sure about, but we are so happy to have her here at DragonCon for her first time, Tamara Duarte. And next we have someone who, well, she was here before, and we're so thrilled that she's back again. Someone who's our new sheriff, or at least plays one on the show. Please welcome Barrell. And so we know that we have to have this next lovely person because we all need an angel or a Nephilim half angel in our lives. Please welcome Dominique, Provost-Chalkley. And of course, what would Wynonna Earp cast panel be without Wynonna herself? Please welcome Melanie Scrofano. So again, now that all 5 of you are here, welcome. We are thrilled to have you here. It's very exciting. So thank you very much. Oh, and thanks for the candy. Okay. So my question for you, and this is your cue, folks, to start lining up with either Kevin. Did you know did you see who is out here running the mic for you guys? Yeah. And yeah, of course, yes. And then we've got Leah over here. Okay, so my question for each of you is there another show that you can imagine your character doing a guest spot in? And if so, which one would that be?
We don't watch enough TV, do we?
No.
Well, this could even be something from long ago. It doesn't have to be current.
Well, just because I love The Good Place, I'm going to say The Good Place.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually great.
Yeah. Waverly on The Good Place.
Baby, guys.
There's the baby?
Yeah. There's a baby.
Also, I feel like Waverly could also go on the Umbrella Academy and bring some light to it.
Yeah. You do watch shows. Those are the 2 shows. Traitress.
I feel like saying Sailor Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I could see Rosita in Sailor Moon, for sure.
You have the legs.
Thank you.
Yeah. Golden Girls.
Golden Girls. And what would you be doing? What would Nicole? How would she fit in?
Nicole's a big Golden Girls fan, so I don't know. I'm sort of thinking if she could.
I'm so sorry, Kat. She's really probably very distracting.
It's right beside the mic.
Yeah, maybe she could go see them at a fan convention or something.
Yes,
that would
for
be
sure.
good.
And
Yeah.
then she would win a walk-on spot on the show.
There you go. That would be perfect.
Yes. Gregory.
The Calamity Jane animated Sunday cartoon. Would have to produce that. I can't think of another show. I don't know what Magnum PI popped into my head. But it would definitely be a cartoon, I think, on Sunday mornings.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride that pony and say like Looney Tunes. Like I would be the, like Wynonna would be the sheriff. Like what's the sheriff and then the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you wake up in the morning, you don't have to do your hair to work it. You just walk in and have your coffee and do the voice.
Oh, I'm thinking literal.
What are you saying?
Like, becoming the Looney Tune Wynonna.
Okay, we will start over here with our honored mic runner, Kevin.
Hi, I'm Hannah. Love all you guys. This question's for any of you. Acting is a strange beast. I was wondering, what is your most just bizarre, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this moment on set?
Oh. On this set or any set?
Any set.
I was doing a play, and it's just not on set, but I was doing a play. It was Little Shop of Horrors, and
Who did you play?
I played Seymour, yeah. And it was summer stock, so we had 10 days rehearsal to do 14 musical numbers and blah, blah, blah. I was really sick. I was so sick. I had a temperature and blah, blah, and so I had one break in the show where she sings Somewhere That's Green. And when I went out on stage in the top of the show, a techie guy asked me, Greg, is there anything we can do for you? And I said, yeah, a small Hawaiian pizza. And then, I was kidding. And I went on and I did it, and I had a 3-minute break, so I ran back to the dressing room. He had to run through the green room to go to the dressing room, and I was mopping the sweat off my face because I was really sick. And when I went back into the green room, I noticed that there was a 4x8 plywood sign, just a piece of wood with a shelf and flashing lights. And it said, Greg, here it is. And there was a small Hawaiian pizza. And how he did that in like 20 minutes, I have no idea. So I had a great respect for the tech crew there. So I'm running backstage stuffing Hawaiian pizza in my face. And I actually entered with my mouth full. And at that moment, I thought, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this.
I feel like we've all had the ones I'm about to say, where it's like anytime you do your taxes in your trailer because they're not using you that day, I'm like, I'm getting paid right now. Like, you know those days where you're just like on set the whole day and then they're like, and then your background in a scene?
And they're like, oh, we're so
So
sorry.
sorry to keep you waiting.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm doing yoga, we're fine.
or then like those scenes where you're like dead in a hospital bed. And you're just like, oh, they're like, I'm so sorry I had to kill you off. I'm like,
I did 3 days of being dead in a bed.
So you heard it here, folks. The incapacitated scenes are their favorites.
But also like the superhero scenes or anything ridiculous like that. Like, yeah, fighting stuff or rappelling or like being on a boat. Which is obviously in the same category as rappelling.
I was gonna say, when I played that teeny tiny role on The Avengers, Joss was like, okay, so we're gonna have to walk you through this.
Joss who? Who's Joss?
Sorry. And he was like, yeah, with this young boy that was playing my little brother, we had to walk through, and he was like, so you're not gonna wanna go any further this way because there's like stuff like spraying and like falling and like explosions here and blah, blah, blah. He was like, oh, and also there's gonna be 20 stunt guys that are gonna be coming at you and like I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. He's like, are you ready? He's like, oh, and by the way, each reset is like $10,000 or like something ridiculous like that. So like, oh my God. And yeah, the minute they called action, it was literally like I was in a war zone, like legit. Like they do it for real. It's not, they created this whole city and then they just blew it up. So it was complete madness. And that was the time where I was like, but I hadn't envisaged like the reality until it was happening. So I was like, like the entire time. At least you didn't have to act. And then afterwards he was like, how are you doing? I was like, yeah, fine. Like feeling like you're about to die. Yeah, that was one of those moments for sure. Yeah.
As a crew person, we are magic, just so you know. We're not allowed to say our secrets, but that's how you got your pizza.
You are?
Yeah, you have to touch.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a question on this side? No, they all went to Kevin. Well, okay. Somebody needs to go over to Leah as well.
Is it me?
Yeah.
You look so cool.
So I have a question related to cosplay. Did you
Is
bring
that
your...
Soleil?
Yes.
Oh, hello.
Did you bring your Blade of Grass costume? And for the rest of the cast, what would you wear if you could cosplay?
Exactly. I would dress as David Bowie from The Lab. Not that I've thought about it or anything.
Would you stuff?
Yeah, probably.
You have.
Yeah.
Such a big part of the.
Those pants and like what's happening down there is a big part of that.
Yeah.
It is the costume. It is that.
You've stumped them.
Sailor Moon?
Soleil, sorry to be so out of the loop, but what's your outfit?
It's Sabine Wren from Star Wars Rebels. She's a Mandalorian, so I got the helmet and everything.
Wow.
Come by
Nice.
your table.
While we're on the subject of costumes, how many folks in the audience might be dressed up as a character from Wynonna Earp? Would you
Yeah.
stand up and show us, please?
Yeah. So cool.
The annoying part is that I've actually thought about this recently because Halloween's coming, and I don't remember the thing.
I don't know why this is in my head and coming up, but I've forgotten her name, which is really not very good. But do you know what's it called now? Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah. What's the girl called from it? Katara. How could I forget? Maybe I would dress up as Katara.
So there'll be two.
Can I be her sister?
But we could go for.
They're plotting a secret costume over here.
Two peas in the
Very in alignment with the blade of
and the
grass.
other two peas. In another pot. Because you're tall.
Well, thank you. And now you have all of those images in your mind, right?
Because you're tall and you keep our shit together.
That was actually quite nice, yes. Okay, Leah, do you have somebody? Okay.
Sorry.
Hi,
Hi.
Draco. I was gonna ask, what is the most embarrassing moment you've ever had on set?
My first day ever on set, ever in my life, was, have you ever told you this story?
With the
No, that was embarrassing too though. My first day ever on set, I was shooting a pilot for ABC. So it was like a really big thing. I had no idea what I was doing. My first scene I ever shot, I was naked, pretty much. I had like tiny underwear and little pasties on, and I was killing a man in a bathtub. And that was the first thing that I ever shot in my life. And the embarrassing part though, was, because that wasn't enough. No, the embarrassing part was that there's this thing called back to ones on set. So basically, they call it out and you like reset, you go back to your starting position. But I didn't know what that meant because I'd never heard that before. So instead, they called cut and I stood up in this bathtub, dripping wet and naked, while the director said back to ones, or the AD said back to ones, and just several times looking at me and I didn't move.
You were naked.
I was naked, I was wet. I had black contact lenses and it was a scene, man. Yeah. But
Did he think you were just making like a power move?
I don't know. I was so green though. It was like and then one of the crew members asked me if I wanted a sub, and I thought they were talking about a sub sandwich. So to me, like a substantial snack, which is usually warm, I guess. So lots of like, so that was mine. First day on the job.
I have one that you guys, I meant to tell you in private, but this isn't good. This just happened. And it wasn't on set, so I'm cheating, but like I have to tell them. And so, oh, I told you. Okay, so, oh God, Dom. Okay. Okay, so Dom introduced me to something called a diva cup, right? Gentlemen, Google it. So anyway, I'm on set, and I don't know how you make it work, but listen, sometimes it's like a feat of science how to make it stay. So I was on a show the other day, and like this just happened, I'm still blushing. And so I'm like, fudge this. So I took it out, and I cleaned it. And then I like put it in, I wrapped it in a paper towel. And then I put it on my desk in my trailer. But then I forgot it. But so then all I know is that at the end of the day, there's some old dude that goes in to clean the trailers. And he knows my business. And so now it's like the most embarrassing part is like, did he open it? And then like, did he not know what it is and go, oh, what's this? And I put it back in and go, hey, Martin, what's this? And then Martin's like, whoa. Hey, Kev, what's this? Spreading my DNA. So then I went back the next day and there was no mention of anything. So that makes it even worse because then I'm like,
Now you have to buy a new one.
yeah.
So now do you kind of avert your eyes every time you see that guy and you pass him?
I quit. I'm not. I'm not mature enough to do it.
I definitely have to Google this. I'm gonna Google it. There's no possible way to top that embarrassing story. There's no. I was doing I was playing a dead body in a miniseries called Klondike, and I couldn't stop laughing because. And then you're in the director goes, why are you laughing? We're trying to get this shot. And I said, because Tim Roth keeps holding my hand between takes because he's mad that you flew him in from Los Angeles just to do a dead body scene. And he was goofing around. And I said, and I can't say anything because he's a great big TV star. And anyway, that was my embarrassing moment. Because I was being unprofessional and laughing because Tim Roth was holding my hand between takes.
Did you have boner on the tape?
Oh,
Because that would level up the embarrassing.
dead people don't have boners?
They do though. Google it. Yeah, right after the death.
Well, since we're talking about boners,
What a segue.
I was embarrassed for him.
Oh God.
That's all I have to say. I was on set, and they have this saying like, "I'm sorry if I do, I'm sorry if I don't," kind of deal, and it was a sex
Like, I'm
scene.
sorry if I get hard, and I'm sorry if I don't, because either way, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
That must be hard.
Oh, I felt so bad for him, and he was like basically naked, and he was so mad that once they called cut, usually someone from wardrobe comes and like covers you, especially if you're half naked. Like it's only the right thing to do, but no one came. And he's like, he got up and he was pissed that no one came to give him a robe, and it was just there, and I was like, okay. And he went to the bathroom, and then he came back 10 minutes later. And it was the first scene, the first scene, and then after that, he
Had you just met that day?
yeah.
So
Yeah. He's actually
oh,
on.
hi. Don't say. Don't.
I know. I'm not gonna say who it is.
The glamour of
Show he's
showbiz.
on. No, I shouldn't. And then another time was I wasn't on set, but I was storing my breast milk. And I, like, when I was going away, I know this is like all of our... Yeah, exactly. So
This is the body part panel.
I was going away, and I was still very engorged, so I was pumping and putting them in these little... There we go, milk, breast milk. Yeah. So they mailed back the milk. I was working in London, actually, and they mailed back the milk for me, and I was at the counter, and I had all of my milk in this bag, and I took, I had extra milk in another bag, and I took it out, and I'm like, okay, so, and you have to give it to the front desk at the hotel because they store it for you and they freeze it, and then when you leave, a week later, you take your milk. So they store your milk for you. It's gross, but whatever. So I took out a bag and it spilled. And there was like, Carol and Coral were there, and they like scurried. They're like, so that was really embarrassing because I'm like, someone has to, I'm like, I'll clean it. I'll clean up my own breast milk. It's fine, it's fine. Like, no one needs to clean my milk. Like, that's like, yeah, so that was pretty embarrassing.
Well, there you have it, folks. Okay, next question.
All right, it's obvious you guys have great chemistry working together. Can you give us an example when that actually played well and the shows worked when you're working together?
Can you kind of explain that a little more? Can you say it again, please?
Chemistry by interacting with each other, getting along together with each other a lot.
Well,
I didn't say that.
It's kind of an instantaneous, organic kind of a thing. Like chemistry, it's not something that, I mean, I remember having a little tiny scene with Tim, and when you finish the scene and it doesn't seem like work, or it doesn't seem like acting, it just happens, and it's so easy. That's when you realize that I like working with Tim, because or any of the actors, you know, it's it kind of happens after the fact. You shoot the scene, at least it does with me. I walk away from the scene and then I go, oh, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, you know. That's how I look at chemistry, as being
Kind of effortless.
effortless. That's the word. Yeah, yeah.
I think like there's a certain amount of openness that you have to have in order to have chemistry with anyone. I think we all have it. So I think that's why we're all able to give and take from each other. I think that's probably down to Emily of going like, you know, I think she just has a knack for picking people who are receptive. And I think, you know, then you're able to like take in, oh, in the scene, Dom's anger is like, if I'm open, I can let that affect me. Or, you know, my crying can affect her if she's open. And then it just creates, I don't know, what we call chemistry, but is actually just human beings just being there for each other.
And we're taught not to do that in everyday life.
Yeah, and in everyday life, it seems, I think that's a really good point. It seems so hard because in everyday life, if you have eye contact for too long, people are like, weird, restraining order, like whatever. Whereas if you don't have eye contact with the person you're working with, then that's destructive. Good point.
I think we all listen to each other too when we're actually doing those scenes. We listen to the other actor and what they're saying, and that's like 80% of it, really.
We also don't do that in real life. We also don't do that. We're in our heads.
Yeah. What am I going to say now?
Yeah, and you're talking at each other for the most part. But when you actually do have a conversation with someone, even your lover, and you're actually listening to each other, you walk away from that conversation so filled because you're open and you're coming from a place of love and not fear. Mm-hmm. And we constantly come from a place of fear because you're taught to be closed off. So when you're, and that's why people, like, with us, and with a lot of shows on TV, you're open, and it's so captivating to watch. Because when someone's actually listening to you, you're open to receiving and giving. So I think there's that.
Yeah, like my definition of chemistry when I see it in movies and stuff is I see two characters that are interested in each other. And there's an exercise you can do as actors, like in theater, you know. You sit, well, okay.
Let's do it.
Well, you sit in a circle and you throw a ball. And the objective is, or two people, you throw a ball. If you're more interested in throwing the ball to the other person, then the scene is going to be good. But if two people are more interested in getting the ball, then the scene's not going to be that good. It's all about giving, it's not about taking. So when you see two actors in a scene, if they're both giving to each other, then the scene becomes alive. If they're both trying to take their moments, it's not as interesting to watch. So.
That may explain the way some things come off as looking kind of overwrought sometimes when you're watching people, that they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, over here, please.
Hello. I was just wondering if there was a piece of advice that maybe you haven't had a chance to share or anything that you'd like to share. That's to everybody.
Just
in general.
You mean like life
Wide
advice?
range.
Like just like life advice, or what
Anything.
kind of advice?
Life advice, anything, whatever.
I have so much advices.
Well, let's do it this way. How about saying, do you have some kind of like your own little credo, like if you could encapsulate all of the credos. You heard it here. Melanie's got them all. But yeah, is there some kind of phrase or just idea that you feel is a good one to live by? Is that kind of where you're going?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Something they haven't shared, maybe haven't shared or something, or want to share, I guess would be the way to say it.
Go for it, yeah. No, because mine's gonna be completely different from yours. No, but that's good. That's fine. I think one of my advice to especially young people is to get really smart about money and take care of yourself and do some long-term saving and planning. And it's not a very sexy thing to say, but I think like a lot of people from a really early age get into a lot of trouble, debt that can cripple you forever, because sometimes we don't have families that are great with that stuff and they don't teach us, and I think it's a huge disservice in our education system that financial literacy is not a priority. But I think if you can take care of yourself and be really smart with your money and look out for your future self and do that planning, I think it's immensely important. It will save you much stress and anxiety in the future. Not sexy, but I think good advice. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not like life-changing advice or anything, but as of late, I've just been trying to lighten things up a bit and just try and
Oh, I agree with you.
and find the light and laugh and find the things that make you feel silly and young and fun, and find the people that bring that out of you and try and nurture that part of yourself, because I think that we're living in a world that is so dark, that can be so dark, and for so many years I lived with all of this sort of pressure of the outside world that kind of took over, and I'm really realizing that you can't be the positive change that we need in the world if you aren't, if you can't find the happiness within yourself to do it in a positive way. So finding whatever that is for you, really, and centering in with that, and just playing a little bit.
We were glad to see the unicorn back.
Huh?
We were glad to see the unicorn be back.
Oh my God, I had the best day ever.
Thanks. Yeah.
I couldn't agree with Dom more. You got to have a sense of humor in life. You just do. We're only here for a little while. We might as well enjoy it. But the thing I always tell myself when I'm in trouble is, when in doubt, be yourself and hope for the best. that's my little motto. And if you're worried about anything, there comes a point when you just have to say to hell with it.
Yeah, let it go.
I'm gonna follow that because it's sort of related, but I would say, yeah, that most of the time, the things we're really afraid of never happen. If you really look at the evidence in your life, you sort of go, oh, I was really scared that would happen, but actually something else happened that you didn't know to be afraid of. So just like, when no, but seriously, and then it's like you just dealt with it because you didn't know enough to be scared of it. So, so whenever I'm afraid, which is all of the time, I go, okay, what if I'm worrying about something that's never going to happen? I've wasted all of this time and energy. So it's that, but it's also don't be afraid to just mess up. Like, I think we're also scared of failure, and there's value in being worried to a certain point, but then just let yourself be scared of fucking up. It doesn't say not to start. Let yourself be afraid of fucking up and then just fuck up. Whatever. It's like the best things that have ever happened to me were when I just left because I was like, I'm gonna fuck up. And then I often did, and then other times I didn't, and I grew.
And you're still here afterwards, so yeah.
And on that note, I think the fear of fucking up is actually worse than actually fucking up.
Yeah.
Right? So, and it's similar to what you're saying, where it's just being aware of the crazy person in your head.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking a lot about this lately, where you're just like, if you took that person outside of your head and put them beside you and they were your friend, would you be friends with them? Probably not, because they're mean. They say stuff that's like off the wall. So it's just being aware of it and just not having judgment to it. But like, I think that voice that creates things that aren't real and the evidence isn't there. So I think it's just, that's the advice I would give, is just see it and reflect on it and see what it says and what it does, and don't have a judgment to it. Like, it shouldn't be thinking like this.
Yeah, because
Yes,
that gives
thoughts
it
are not
power.
truth. It gives it power, for sure. So, that little voice.
That was a $100 therapy session.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Hi.
Hi.
This is actually kind of for Melanie, but the rest of you guys can answer it too. I managed to see Ready or Not just before I came in.
Apparently, a few other people have as well, yeah.
It was amazing, by the way. How do you think either you as you or you as Wynonna would, how long do you think would you survive in that situation?
Without spoilers.
Oh. Okay, but we all know what that movie's about.
Okay, wait. Hey, you know what's funny? I haven't seen it. I was just telling Don, like, I don't know. Is it good? I don't know.
It was good.
Yeah. Okay, so without spoilers. Like, no, Wynonna would get her done. Wynonna would be hilarious also, but she'd be
She'd
fine.
win.
Would I be? I would just be like, guys, what are we doing? like I'd be like, we don't need this house. Let's just be poor. And like not try to murder anyone.
Notice you said try.
That's a great, so, but does that mean, I haven't seen the movie and I forget what like the mythology is, does that mean I would die?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, so I would die. Thank you for that question, and thanks for being here. Yes.
Okay, over here.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Kat, just to let you know, my wife actually is the Goblin King today from Labyrinth.
Amazing. You look great.
Love the show. Melanie, credit to your acting ability. I had to prove to my wife that was you in Letterkenny.
Oh. Great fucking show, that's all I know.
Maybe more as Wynonna than.
Right.
But my question is, if you found yourself in a full-on Freaky Friday situation, which character would each of you like to play?
Okay, wait. Does this mean in the same show?
Yes.
Yes.
One
And
time,
Wynonna
everybody
Earp.
switches roles. Who wants to be who?
I want to be Waverly because I want everybody to like me.
Bobo.
Ah,
He just has this like, oh yeah, I don't know. There's something about him. I'd want to be him.
Champ. I just want like one day of playing a dick. I just want I didn't mean it to sound like that. But no, yeah, Champ. Champ.
I think Mercedes would be really fun.
Maybe Jeremy. Jeremy. But it's too similar to Waverly, probably. I mean, the only other person that would obviously be Tim, but Doc Holliday, but I would be so shit at it. I'd be so bad at it. The thing about this show is just like every single character is so well written and so complex that I think whatever I got put as, I would be so happy to tackle. But yeah, so any and all. Maybe Greg. Maybe I'd be Nedley.
that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Thank you.
Nedley with leather pants.
I think.
I feel like Natalie was a little dark at the beginning.
No, I know, but that's just tough love.
No, but there was like a.
No, tough love.
Yeah, that is you were a little grumpy in those first couple episodes.
Can confirm.
It was just tough love. I can't speak for the writers. I just do what they write. And somewhere along the way, something happened. He started to, I think, for me, once it was written that he knew more than people thought he knew, and he had that file and he gave it to dolls, you know that thing where you threw your file into the garbage and he picked it out, that's when the character changed, or started to change into something else. So I have to rationalize that beginning part where he was a dick. And I just say it's tough love. He cared so much for Wynonna that he had to give her a talking to. And then get the finger.
A couple of times.
But, tough love. Tough love.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, my question's not exactly related to Wynonna Earp, but since Wynonna Earp has been trying to decide when they were going to start back up, I started watching Letterkenny.
Oh, random choice. Great.
Completely random. Okay, so Melanie, I want to know how much of that is improv.
Oh, none of the words, because I don't. The joke on that show is like the director's like, you don't even have to learn your lines because I can't understand a word you're saying anyway. I'm like, okay, well, I'm the only one like that, so I don't know. So none of that. But then there is a lot of physical comedy that is improv. Between this room, between us,
You may be on TV right now.
I really want to tell this though.
And you said the F word.
Listen, it'll probably get cut. There was something involving a banana that I improv'd because they gave me a, but you know that somebody gives you a prop, like the director's like, and you'll be holding this, and you're like, why? So the director gave me a banana, and I was like, well, I think this guy's getting deep-throated. And I think that's gonna get cut. So that, like, moments like that are improv, I guess, yeah.
As you can see, I am Hufflepuff and proud.
Woo!
I just want to know which Hogwarts house would you and your character be sorted into?
Can we be like a mixture?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, okay, right.
Waverly would obviously have a bit of Gryffindor in her as well. A lot, maybe. And maybe even some Slytherin.
Why is Slytherin bad? Just because you're ambitious.
The more cunning.
Yeah.
I'm Slytherin. I did before. Shocking, I know, but yeah. But Nicole would be Gryffindor, I think. Yeah.
Or Ravenclaw.
Or Ravenclaw?
No, Gryffindor.
What's the deal with Ravenclaw? Or the what?
Wise.
Yeah, Ravenclaw.
And they're clever.
I'm not Ravenclaw.
Very
No, we can stop right there. I think Wynonna would be Griffy Slith. Right?
Yeah, good.
And I would be Slithy Grip.
I'm
It's
gonna
gonna
do
be a
my,
new thing now.
I'm gonna do my thing here. This is my little trick. Which character do you think Nedley would be?
I think Hufflepuff.
I agree.
I think he's a mixture. But like 10% Ravenclaw.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm thinking a mixture of Hufflepuff and Gryffindor.
Oh, yeah. So good. Oh my God. Gotta do it on lunch.
Yes, get
What
sorted.
are people saying?
Pottermore.com.
Pottermore.com.
Yeah.
What?
Say that again.
Pottermore. It's the accent. It's like Pottermore or Pottermore. I'm like,
Now you'll all go find out officially, right? Thank you.
ooh, I haven't done that yet.
I did that and I forgot what it was.
Well, then
It's an
that's-
animal, right?
Do you have a website for that one too?
Thank you. Do you have anybody over this side, Lee? No? Okay.
Hi. I'm proud Slytherin, by the way. Thank you very much.
Yeah!
I just want to know, in what ways do you guys think you're similar to your characters, like personality-wise, and what ways do you feel like you're different? Sorry to be deep.
Rosita, seeker of knowledge. Right, like I'm like that as well. I'm very curious and just spend my life on Google. No, but I think seeker of knowledge. I think Rosita is very much like she just wants to learn as much as possible, and I feel like I'm similar in that sense.
Tamara's always got like really good. No, she's a fascinating person to talk. No, because you know so much, especially about like spirituality and like different ideas and different ways of looking at the world. It's fascinating.
And prenatals, we were just talking about.
I was just saying, we're whispering to each other because I was saying, oh, this question stresses me out. Anybody stress out over this question?
I'm so sorry.
No, but I love it. It's a great part. I love being stressed. I do. It's good because it's a challenge. But I don't know why it stresses me out because then I'm like, because I don't know. Like it's so blurry. That's why.
It is really blurry when you play a character. It, like so much of the character is yourself. I think in some ways, you know, like it kind of it's like a fusion of you and like embodying the character in many ways.
Yeah. And Emily is fantastic. fantastic at casting that way. Like, she just, like, yeah.
And like somebody else would play Wynonna differently to you because of who they are.
Yeah.
Their soul.
I agree that, yeah, the character is you, like you're playing the character, but as far as Nedley goes, I don't think his virtues or his weaknesses are the same as mine. He's a much more secure guy. I'm not really like Nedley. But we share a motto, and that's loyalty above all else except honor. So it's that kind of credo. That's the only similarity that I would see between Nedley and me.
Was it loyalty?
Loyalty above all else except honor.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to be Googling everything.
Well, you know where to start. Man, I'd almost like to know how you guys think.
You're similar or
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know how to answer that for you guys. I don't know how to answer that for myself. I don't drink.
That's true, yeah.
And you did mention the
You're less
physical
reckless.
improvisation in
You're
another
much
role.
less reckless.
I'm less reckless. I'm sorry.
You did mention the physical improvisation in another role. Do you do any of that in real life? I mean, are you kind of a physical person that way?
Yeah. Okay, I'll answer for you,
Oh,
sis.
yeah, go.
Melanie is just as funny as Wynonna, for sure, in real life. So you share your comedic stylings. You're definitely less reckless than Wynonna.
Yeah.
I think you're maybe a bit more of a warrior than Wynonna. I don't think we have wonder. Whereas Wynonna's a bit much like, oh, fuck it, you know, like.
Say
that's
mom
a good,
thing.
pretty good thing.
Mom thing too. I mean, Wynonna, mom, you, mom.
Oh, I don't abandon. Yeah.
You would never leave your children.
You didn't abandon. No, it's true. I did the right thing.
Both enjoy making inappropriate comments.
I thought you said making people read comics. I'm like, oh, never. I actually have never made something.
That could be a new way to treat the reverends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sit down. Open this Archie.
Do we have anybody else?
Did you answer yours?
Okay.
We didn't answer. We haven't come up.
Since we talked about Sheriff Nedley and his tough love, I wanted to know what everyone's favorite Sheriff Nedley scene was.
To watch or to play?
The one, remember, and you're all in your bun and and then there's the crowd and he's like, doing that. She's a good person. Yeah, end of season 1. And you defended her for the first time. Ringing a bell over there.
What, when those people in the alley wanted to eat you? That's not my favorite.
Yeah, like the father thing. That was my favorite. And I told you that yesterday. It actually made me cry.
I also will say the scene that we did together.
I really enjoyed that. I have to say, because I think that was really the only time we worked together, and it was an office scene, and I was sort of explaining my screw up as a bad cop by hiding a file and Mama Earp and the shame. I remember feeling the shame of it because he did a bad thing. But I was sort of really interested in Waverly in that scene. I remember watching you through it. I was just interested in to see what Waverly's reaction was going to be when I told her this stuff.
That was a scene where I felt like I was so not in my head, you know. I was just, I think I remember telling you, oh, brilliant, because I often get a bit nervous and stuff, and it came so naturally because you gave such a stellar performance. It was incredible.
Oh, thank you. My favorite scene, I think, is, and it's just because I want to be an action hero. It's the shotgun scene where I say, you boys go ahead and duck.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just because I had so much fun doing it.
I found the quote that you're talking about, the one where he comes to your defense, to Wynonna's defense, and you told the townspeople, Wynonna is what we made her.
Oh my God, it's like, yeah, that's good.
Well, it's true.
That's such a powerful thing to say. Like, we can use that in society too. Like, take responsibility for what we did as a community to this person. Like that, it happens a lot, and I think that moment said it so well.
I think a lot of the credit has to go to the writers. I mean, it really does, because here's a character that doesn't really do very much in the show. He pops in, pops out, pops in, pops out. It was developed that he's probably a man of few words, and when they write the words for him to say,